I'm joined by the head coach of the national champion St. Clair Saints, Mike LaChance. It's been a long time coming for him, second all time in CGFL wins, and finally got his first Canadian Bowl as head coach of the Saints. So, coach, just tell me how that feels.
Yeah, it feels good just to hear it still, to be honest with you. It was, like you said, 20 years in the making for me personally, being head coach here in Windsor, obviously for the Windsor AKL Fratman for a number of years, and then the last four for the St. Clair Saints. So it's been a straight run and it's been fun. It's been a lot of ups and downs over those years, and we've competed in the national stage quite a few times. I think other than the GOAT in Saskatoon, I've been in more interprovincial games than any head coach currently in the CGFL. So I know what it's like there, and I knew what it took to get over the top. And St. Clair was kind of a magic elixir to kind of give us some advantages that we didn't have before.
Yeah, so just talk a bit about that. So many years you guys made it to the national stage and just couldn't get the job done. But this year, especially after a lot of people in the media, myself included, didn't give you guys the respect and the opportunity and the chance that you guys clearly in the end deserve. Just talk a bit about how you were able to get over the Okanagan Sun and all the doubters in the media and on social media.
Yeah, it's really, I mean, the same coaching staff for the most part that I've had together for a long time, same administration before the college that was with AKO that's still with us now. The college obviously added a new element because we get a lot of advantages there. From a facility standpoint, you can see behind me, it makes recruiting a little easier when you have a facility like that. Um, so that really was the biggest advantage. But I think more than anything, it's everybody's looking for their own advantage. And what we do at St. Clair College wouldn't work or doesn't work for some teams out west like Okanagan or Saskatoon or West Shore. Those teams are all super successful in what they do. So I think there's different ways to go about it. To find what you're good at, what your community could support. For us, when we try to do it the old way, the typical junior way, there just wasn't enough money in a small city like Windsor. There's too many teams. There's almost 20 teams when you look at OUA football teams and then the OFC teams. So there's a lot of competition for the same amount of dollars, right? So it's a little difficult that way. And I think the our way is working for us, and it doesn't mean it's the only way. Definitely doesn't mean it's the only way, but it definitely helped us get over the top.
Yeah, 100%. Like anyway works. Clearly what you guys have done is successful. So just expand a little bit more on the college partnership. There's been some rumors going around about how people say you're giving them scholarships, a much bigger budget than other teams. Just talk a bit about that and if it's right or wrong and if people are just misinformed.
Yeah, it's mostly misinformation, I think. For some people, I think it's easier to sleep at night, knowing that they lost to a team that has this uber advantage and they treat us like the New York Yankees, like we have an unlimited budget, rather than know that you got beat by somebody who just worked really hard at it, really went to task for the last 4 years, especially at the college, and kind of put a team together that could do this on the national level. And it's unfortunate that people want to be like that, but like I said, it's easier to wrap their head around it. Um, for a number of years, as long as I've been in the league, people want to complain that the OFC can't compete on the national stage and it's a glorified exhibition game and it's a waste of money. And then when we win on the national stage, everyone wants to make the reasons and the excuses why they couldn't beat us. So I think the truth is that we have some advantages that other teams don't have with the scholarship program that we have. That being said, the kids, they come here, they go to school, they have to go to school. So I can't recruit non-student athletes like other people do. So that's a disadvantage on our end. And then they have to maintain a 2.0 grade point average, or they don't get anything. They don't get any scholarship money. So when it's all said and done, every kid on our team's paying. It just depends on how much they have to pay to go to school, because the scholarship money comes off that top if they earn their scholarship. There's really nothing more to it than that. Teams out west are, I'm sure, recruiting with their big budgets, flying guys in from all over the place, including the United States, and finding houses for them and billets for them and jobs for them. We're really no different. There's different ways to do it, and the only difference with us really is that the school aspects, it's there. And For a lot of reasons, it's an advantage because of facilities. For some other reasons, it's tough. It makes it tough. I've talked to several players who don't want to go to school or they want to go to university. They would love to play for us, but they're university students. They're not playing for us. So as many guys as I get, I'm going to lose my fair share too. And I'm sure for those reasons, if you flip it, it's opposite for some other teams.
Yeah, 100%. I think you brought up a great point there that you have to go to school because that's one of the main advantages I talk about with junior football that you don't necessarily have to. So, like you said, there's pros and cons, and a lot of it really can make it out to be sour grapes because every team has a budget, every team has their distinct unique selling points, and you guys were just capitalizing on yours, in my opinion. So, just talk a bit about how you feel about this season, how you guys just won the national championship and one of the most dominant seasons in CGFL history. How do you guys repeat and potentially even exceed that?
I mean, it's tough to exceed it unless you can consider like a back-to-back, putting a cherry on the top, maybe. Really, we go into every year. It's no different than we have in the past. We go into every year with the expectation to get on the national stage and compete on the national stage and give ourselves a chance at winning a national championship. It doesn't always, obviously, for any team, it doesn't always work out like that. Although Saskatoon wins their fair share, with everybody else, you see the standings, and everybody else has got 4, 3, 2 national championships. So it's spread out. Other than like I said, the Hilltops seem to win more than they lose. So they're the gold standard in our league until someone proves different. Uh, with us, we're just trying to put a great team back on the field. We lost some monsters for sure. A guy like Maurice Soja is a huge loss. Tyrone Weber's a huge loss. We've got a few other guys in there, the Kazadi twins, Billy Patterson. So like everybody, we're going to lose some guys, but we've got some dudes coming in too. So we'll rebuild, we'll reload as we go. I assure you, we're going to have a really competitive team. The OFC's got some real good teams in the league right now, and I know our conference gets beat up by everybody, but I can assure you that Ottawa and London are not far. If they had been fortunate enough to get to the national championship game and host it at their place, it would not have been a one-sided game for the West. I can guarantee that. Ottawa would give Okanagan trouble with that defense that they had, and London would have ran the football. So I've seen them. I've seen all those teams. I'm the only one in the league that has. So I think my opinion is pretty valid on this one. When we line up against Ottawa, I know we're going to be in for a fight. When we line up against London, I know we're going to be in for a fight. It's a different fight, but it's a fight. So it's not the cakewalk that everyone makes it out to be.
Yeah, for sure. And it's great that, especially this national championship is really going to start giving Ontario more respect because there's so many great players and a lot of great teams. Like top end would be able to compete with most CGFL teams. So just expand more about the state of the Ontario Football Conference and how you could see where they could get more respect and every team in the league could really compete and it could be a full 20 team league.
Yeah, I think it took an Ontario Conference team to be a national championship contender and win it like we have. We've been a contender for a few years now. In 22, when we played Okanagan, it was a really good game up until maybe 6 minutes left in the game. They scored to kind of pull away a little bit, but it was a tight game. Certainly 2 years ago, we went up to Saskatoon and the number looked really bad. We got shellacked on the scoreboard, but we racked up nearly 500 yards offense against a great Hilltops team. And then this year, obviously, another game where we were in the mid 400s for offense, and we shut down a vaunted running game for Okanagan. Held them to 60 some odd yards with a phenomenal running back. So I think those kind of things, those last 3 years in particular, has really not just propelled St. Clair College to the national stage, but it's pulled some, and we'll take credit for it a little bit, but it's pulled some OFC teams with us because you're either going to get on board and you're going to compete at a national level, or you're going to get waxed every week. So I've seen Okinawa, or I've seen Ottawa step their game up with recruiting. They're putting a lot of money into the program. Coach Kev does a great job there as the owner or GM coach. And he's definitely putting his money where his mouth is, and he's recruiting hard. And I see some of the athletes coming in there, some of the size they got coming in, and it's definitely a formidable team. In the semifinal last year for the OFC, they really gave us a lot of trouble defensively. They're very strong, and our offense struggled a little bit in that game for the first time all year. We struggled on offense against Ottawa, And then London's a little bit opposite. We surely scored a lot of points on them by putting 75 on them in the final, but they had over 400 yards offense on us in the OFC final, and that's something that Okanagan couldn't manage. So I think strengths wise, Ottawa and London do some things that are pretty special, and I think they're really close. And like I said, they're competing. They're bringing it every week. They're coaching them up, and it's good to see in the OFC. And it's exciting to have another college in the CGFL with Sioux College coming in. And I know Coach Rossetti will do a good job with that team. Again, they're putting a ton of money into the program. They're recruiting well. They've got a bunch of kids from Windsor. So again, we have a great facility. We have a great program, but it's not like I could. Everyone wants to pretend that I could buy every player. I'm recruiting hard. I recruit every day, recruiting every minute, basically. So my staff and myself are recruiting hard and trying to put a great team together, but we can't get everybody. And Sue will come in, and I expect them to be just like we were. We were a contender the first year we were at the college. So they're going to come in and give it, and I'm expecting them to be a great program right off the hop. There's no learning curve. There's nothing. They're a college. They get every advantage we get. They should be good right away.
Yeah, that's really great to hear because I've seen the growth the past 3 years. The OFC is really getting up there to compete. It's going to be really exciting. So just last question here. Just talk a bit about why, like your last sales pitch as to why players should come play for St. Clair.
Well, I always talk about consistency, and I see a lot of teams, and where if you're gonna spend 4 or 5 years with a junior program, most teams you're gonna not be with the same coach at the end of the program at the end of your 4 years that you started with because they change coaches so often, and there's so much change in their leadership of their programs. 21 years and counting. I'm not going anywhere. The staff is solid. We're going to be here. We're going to coach you up. We preach meritocracy, which in a simple way, the term just means the best players are going to play. And you see it every year. You have a chance if you're a rookie, if you're 18-year-old, and you come in, you could unseat a fourth-year veteran. If you're a fourth-year veteran, you hang on tight, you work your ass off in the off season and keep your spot, and just compete every day. We have a lot of fun. We practice hard. We practice 5 times a week. We practice 4 times a week in the off season. We're working out hard right now. Our off season training program's outstanding. So the guys are really ready to go, and it's a full year commitment, but we have a lot of fun doing it, and we have a lot of fun winning while we're at it.
Yeah, and just over the past couple months, I've talked to a lot of different coaches. St. Clair is 100% one of the players always ask me where I should go. That's one of the, if you have the chance, that's one of the best programs in the entire country. What you're doing with the players and the team is amazing. It's really setting the standard, not just for the OFC, but all of the Canadian Junior Football League on how to run a program. You guys are among the best, so it's an honor to cover it. Thank you so much for coming on with this interview despite the technical difficulties, and hopefully we'll catch up again during the season.
Absolutely. It's always fun to read your post, Wiz. You do a great job covering the CGFL and really appreciate it. Don't always agree with your takes, but I always read them. So that's a good thing.
Yeah, that's a great thing. Thank you.